every second in the UK, someone, somewhere, complains.
Hello?
You asked me to do it.
There's no need to shout, is there?
There is actually.
Your call will be recorded for training and quality purposes.
No one on this earth insults my mother.
Shut up.
Complaints to British corporations have doubled in a year.
What is going to happen with my complaint?
I appreciate this process is a bit complicated.
This needs resolving today.
Great.
For modern companies, it's now all about customer care.
I can only apologise.
And this new industry is thriving.
Wow. Just going to teach us to talk properly to the customers.
Flex up, flex down.
You're a country. You think you know what you're doing, but you don't.
But there's a new breed of super complainers who are tooling up for a fight.
And where we go?
That goes on my helmet, which I call the hell cap.
Go to hell, you idiots!
Your fault! It's been all the time your fault! Not my fault, your fault!
This is a battle that will push both sides to breaking point.
And branded a terrorist.
I look at this as sort of a David Goliath thing. But remember, David did win.
Tonight, London is bursting at the seams.
Take your Oyster card and shove it up your...
And staff at Transport for London are taking the flag.
All I've got is I'm sorry.
Five miles from central London, in the shadow of the Millennium Dome, is a building that's home to a new kind of professional. Dwayne is one of Britain's million call handlers who now account for 1 in 25 of our workforce. He specialises in complaints.
We're all in the same boat. We're definitely all in the same boat. What it boils down to is how you take life. There's people that sail through life with no issues or no stress.
But they don't call here.
Every morning, Dwayne and his fellow 400 call handlers are awakened by the fastest growing city in Europe.
Central London is experiencing large volume of traffic
as RMT union workers continue their 48-hour strike.
London has grown by 1 million people in a decade. And the number of journeys taken daily has doubled to 27 million.
All commuters are head down. All they want to do is be able to get to work on time, but we're close to bursting point.
You're not going to go nowhere.
We have to implement crowd control multiple times for the day. One minor shutdown or one minor delay of a train can cause chaos.
Every day, temperatures are rising. Transport for London is a subsidised, non-profit making company responsible for managing 580 kilometres of roads, 8,500 buses, and the longest and oldest underground system in the world.
The minute you step out of your front door, you're probably walking on one of our streets. You're crossing at our crossings, you're taking our buses. If there's going to be an organisation you bump into repeatedly, it's probably going to be us.
You have millions of journeys made every day. Only a fraction contact us. That's all they're speaking to all day. It's the unhappy fraction of London.
Transport for London, customer service.
I'm phoning you because I'm complaining about the way you're dealing with things out here, yeah?
TfL receive 8,000 calls and 1,500 emails every day.
One of your bus drivers, he's just fast. He started giving me the fingers, middle fingers, both hands.
I seem to be in some transport black hole.
No one on this earth insults my mother.
Call handlers nationwide start on an average of £16,000 a year. Every day, they deal with an assorted selection of the great British public.
It can be viewed as a role that actually anyone can do. No, not anyone can do it. Only certain types of people can do it, who have incredible levels of patience.
Yeah, I hope you recorded it.
Speaking to 60 highly emotional customers a day, that is tough.
He called me up.
I'm really sorry to hear that. Okay, look.
No slurring. Stop saying sorry.
TfL are required by the Mayor to respond to most complaints within 10 days. But times are changing.
In the last 2 years, the environment has changed so much. The expectation of customers has gone here from responding within 10 working days to saying, well, my inquiry is a quick one, I want a response within 1 day.
Those who don't want to wait are turning to a new form of complaining altogether. A fifth of all Brits now regularly tweet. Complaints via social media are not only instant but very public, and it's empowered a new generation of complainers.
Hello.
Hello. So what's happening today?
I'm at home. I'm off to Ilford, going to get the bus. Hopefully it's on time.
What have you got?
The driver will know about it. Put it that way.
Sabrina takes a bus to work every day.
Oh, but you know, W19 is really actually due. I ain't running. Who's got time for that? It's late. Why do this? Done your service on time and we won't have this situation, would we? Just annoys me.
With 17,000 tweets to her name, Sabrina is part of a new wave of complainers, broadcasting their raw emotions in real time.
Twitter is my main source of rant and rave. Oh, shoot me now. It's my Twitter. I can do what I like. That's how I think of it.
What's your goal if you're complaining?
For them to understand that them delaying me takes time out of my life. Add those 10 minutes up every day, significant amount of time. He's driving so slow, it's like he's only just passed his driving test.
Someone called Sabrina?
In just 2 years, TfL's social media team has grown to 10 employees with 1.4 million followers.
Please, at TfL Bus Alerts, retrain the bus driver about his highway code. I've got a timeline in front of me. Next tweet reads, after dinner treats, lemon cake balls. It's like you would gossip over a glass of wine with your friend. So there's not really anything I can answer. Nice girl that she sounds.
The team receive thousands of tweets every hour. Some help identify problems on the network. Others offer a unique insight into the customer experience.
Take your Oyster card and shove it up your... I thought it was Sunday service, not wartime service. I wish you all death. Merry Christmas.
Channels like Twitter have become a very useful mechanism to vent a little bit of spleen. But that spleen is useful to us as well because it's one of those factors that's telling us where customer expectations are headed.
You wits, I think a blind, paraplegic, retarded, comatose monkey could organise things better. Better spelt wrong.
What does that you think, reading those?
Doesn't bother me in the slightest. At the end of the day, it's someone who's annoyed about a service and I'm here to fix it.
As well as the unstoppable Twitterati, TfL are having to cope with the rise of a new kind of super complainer.
Some people have maybe unrealistic expectations and no leniency for the challenges that the network has.
You, this is the minimum, yeah? This is 1 meter. You're well in. You need to be careful. You're too close to me.
Over the last 3 years, Lewis has recorded every cycle journey he has made.
What is your name? What is your name? You are a twit. That's what you are.
His goal, to name and shame bad drivers.
You can kill a cyclist the way you were driving just now.
and passes complaints to transport companies and police.
Scan his face. I'm on his mobile phone as well. If you've done something wrong, I have this invincibility of the law, which I feel protects me. That's why I confront people with the law.
No one is safe from Lewis's all-seeing eye.
Signal, signal, signal. Idiot! It is a war of attrition. I'm going to report you to the police. One has to be prepared to combat that. And I'm going to report you for that, for being rude and aggressive.
Long after his day job as an IT specialist is over, Lewis uploads videos of his latest adventure in the guise of a highly crafted alter ego.
The droid font is the AR Destine. Sounds French. It looks futuristic, suits the image of the droid. That's me, droid, traffic droid.
As traffic droid, Lewis has uploaded over 1,600 videos to the web.
Maybe some dramatic music to highlight fear and tension. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's good. We'll go with that. I am absolutely committed to this role as traffic droid, all the way. I believe in justice and fairness. If you do wrong, you need to realize you've done wrong and correct yourself.
I want to run you over. I want to kill you. No ride up there, I want to scratch you.
In this case, this devil almost killed me, and he doesn't realize I'll be having his balls for breakfast in the morning. I can have it boiled, I can have it scrambled, and I can have it, sauteed, whatever you like.
Now, Lewis is turning his attention to a new foe, Transport for London.
You touched my bike! Stop! You all saw that? It's like a guerrilla warfare, street by street, car by car, bus by bus. Red card! Justice will be done. We will prevail. Watch this space.
Transport for London's crusade for better customer service goes all the way to the top. Commissioner Sir Peter Hendy, a former bus driver, is now in charge of £9 billion of public money and 27,000 staff, including a crack team of communications experts.
This is probably so high technology.
Yeah, ruffle your hair because we've got camera as well.
That's all.
The power of social media enables Sir Peter to talk with thousands of customers direct.
What is the etiquette for sharing armrests? Scamp in my train this morning refused to negotiate. Reply what you
I'd just say, just be polite.
Just be nice and polite.
That's it.
Unbeknownst to Sir Peter, London's biggest techno-complainer is about to join the conversation.
I use Twitter every day. In fact, my ex-girlfriend called me half man, half internet.
At TFL official, #AskSirPeter. What are the PTO doing about malicious taxi drivers against cyclists?
I would say something about taxi drivers, but I won't.
I don't think so.
I think I could.
We won't, will we?
No, we won't. So, what are we doing about malicious taxi drivers against cyclists?
Our message to all road users is we've all got to look after each other.
What's that?
So we can get that,
Yeah.
It says our message to all road users is to look out for each other and obey the highway code. That is pathetic. I'm sorry to say, Sir Peter, it didn't help me very much indeed, but I have to find other measures and other means in which to get a solution to the problem.
People's expectation of customer service and public services is rising all the time. So we actually have to respond to it. Because if we don't, even if the services we provide are good, people just think we're slow and dull and unresponsive. So you've got to move with the expectations of the customers. Symbiosis. What do you reckon symbiosis means? I'm slightly amazed by the level of technology he's got.
Cross-check power.
Lewis hasn't always been a serial complainer.
It was after my first accident, I thought I was going to die that evening. That's when the traffic droid arose from the ashes of the almost near death. I have 7 cameras to capture 360 degrees angle. I call them droid cams. That goes on my helmet, which I call the hell cam, because it gives the bad driver hell.
Go to hell, you idiots!
Reaction cam, which goes on the front of the handlebar, set.
Careless!
All the cameras together on my droid bicycle, as I call it, comes to about 1,800 pounds.
Do you think it's a bit extreme?
It's extreme, but London is extreme, so you need to face it with extreme measures to deal with bad driving. Off your mobile phone, sir. Right now, there's a lot of chaos and conflict.
No fighting, don't fight!
Do you see yourself as a vigilante or a...
No, I think more a social corrector. Incrimination mode set.
What's it like having that on the front?
It makes the bicycle more stable. It's strange. Horn check.
So you're going into the fray then?
Yes, about to enter the abyss of hell.
Every day, Lewis joins an increasing number of buses and taxis clamouring for space on London's roads.
You're trying to undertake me. That one's very dangerous. I'm going to report you to the police. Shut up!
Hello, good afternoon. You're through to Marlon at Transport for London Customer Services. How can I help you?
I'd like to lodge a complaint, please. I am the traffic droid.
The traffic droid?
Yes.
Yeah, traffic droid. Like, we can work with that. How can I help? What's the issue?
One of your bosses tried to hedge me out.
Are you okay? Just the first thing.
I am fine. I'm still alive.
Jesus Christ. I will swear. I really swear. Self-regulatory.
Yeah.
And I have footage of the incident as well.
Fantastic.
Yes. Are you actually going to do something about it?
Absolutely. We've got more than enough to actually do something regarding this.
How do I get feedback?
We'll send a response out to you, and it's generally 10 working days.
Well, remember traffic droid, okay? When I call you, the whole call center there will start to shake.
Okay, traffic droid?
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Dangerous driver. What I want to hear is, have they made contact with the driver? Has there been disciplinary disbursed because of what happened, or just a warning? That is very important. You know, if you don't have that, then what's the point of having customer service?
Customers want more, and they want more and more and more, and we need to meet that expectation.
Perry has worked at TfL for just 6 weeks, but already he's made friends.
I just know his voice.
Yeah.
He just wants you to know everything all at once. I think he finds it hard to come to terms with the fact that we're all human beings. And me. He gets through to me.
Good afternoon, Transport for London Customer Services. Perry speaking. How can I help?
Can you tell me, please, why did the bus fares go up twice last year and they've gone up again this year?
I can't tell you exactly, but I can find out for you.
You work for Transport for London and nobody knows why. That's about the size of it then, isn't it?
Can I have a look? Bear with me one moment.
I suggest you get a competent person to ring me back.
That's a nice thing to say.
I've asked you why it's so. You don't know. You work for the company that's responsible for doing it. It's reasonable to expect that you would have an explanation.
Well, it's to reinvest in renewing
Yeah, but the stuff you're doing is wrong, because I've just walked round the Tottenham one-way system, but it's been renewed by TfL at gazillions of pounds, and the journey that used to take 5 minutes can now take up to an hour. So that's not an improvement, is it? I think your manager better call me back and explain why this is acceptable.
No problem. Can I take your name, please, sir?
Bott, B-O-T-T. You know my name. I have enough trouble with you people.
And your first name?
Mister.
Okay.
Mark has made around 50 complaints to TfL.
I think customer service is a bit of an apology for the fact that we don't do training in this country the way we used to. People earned positions of responsibility before, so if you spoke to somebody in authority, you knew that they were going to be able to do the job. And if it came to it, they could go out and do that job, whereas now you don't get that. Is that the people don't know how to do the job. They don't understand what the job's about or who's doing what and why.
You seem to know more than I did at some point, and it's impressive in a sense. There's certain people that call up who can reel off every detail. They know everything, and they're just, curtain twitchers. But if that's what they want to do, if that's their thing, then keep us working.
You come in and you're all buzzed up, and then it takes only one person to burst your bubble. What you have to think about is what are the other 9 things that are actually going to re-inflate your bubble.
To keep up with increasingly demanding punters, Transport for London invests heavily in customer service training, an industry worth hundreds of millions of pounds nationwide.
We've got the combo. It starts with you, that's I plus R equals O. A buzz session on influence and persuasion, a buzz session on the conversation funnel. Does that make sense?
On a course called iCare, staff are taught the fundamentals of complainers' psychology.
PAC. Parent, adult, child, thank you very much. We talk about the concept that's very deep in psychology, this concept of parent, adult, child. So what happens is often when we choose to complain, we will go into child. So we have an unpleasant situation, we phone up, and we might physically or metaphorically stamp our feet down the phone.
I know for a fact, you put in a complaint, it goes no further, it goes in the PIN.
No, it goes into our operations and garage management team for them to investigate and get back to you.
All I got is I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
For most people, when you're confronted with a child, you go into parent, and the parent says things like, don't speak to me like that. The challenge can be responding to someone who behaves like a child as an adult rather than as a parent. And that's the kind of thing that can take only a minute to explain, but a lifetime to understand.
So I'll put this complaint in. Do you want a reference number?
Why?
Okay, so do you want the reference number?
No, it's a reference number.
All right then.
Call centre managers have to work harder than most employers to hold on to staff.
Got a few awards here and bits and bobs.
Keeping them motivated is a constant challenge.
This was Customer Services Week, so I think my managers actually voted for me to actually get this award, so I was really chuffed with that, and I've just been kind of working hard and trying to show my worth this year, to make sure that I try and get a permanent job.
TfL's finest are primed and ready to deal with the most persistent complainers.
What's going on?
If they can get through the first line of defence,
Very good. Quite calming, relaxing, isn't it? Yeah.
What style of music is that?
That is sort of my idea of jazz.
over the course of our lives, the average Brit spends up to 43 days on hold.
Our agents are busy at present. Thank you for your patience.
Signal! Silly man.
This is Dwayne from Transport for London Customer Services. How can I help you today?
Greetings, Dwayne. This is Lewis, traffic droid.
Okay, so have you called before?
Scusi, signore. Yeah? Grazie.
Hold on. Not quite sure where he is.
What's your first name, first of all, please?
Call me Traffic Droid.
What's that? Traffic
Droid is my name, that's my reference, yeah.
At least the bus driver will remember that.
It's not a case of, remembering it, sir.
Traffic Droid is better. Traffic as my first name and Droid as the last name.
I won't be able to take it any further due to the fact that we don't know if you're the right
person, sir.
If I'm a person or a robot, okay.
It's Lewis.
What took place now? What happened?
I was riding along the central lane.
He started overtaking somebody else.
Suddenly.
And almost hitting me with
the back of his bus.
I can only apologise that took place, sir.
All right.
You've done the right thing in contacting us, where I'll send this report through to his managers. So is there anything else I can help you with today?
No, that'll be it. So let's hope there's going to be no more incidents.
But I don't hold your breath.
Okay then, thanks for calling. Bye.
Dwayne, have a good evening.
Bye.
Signore, grazie. Ciao. Bene. I think it's appropriate because Italians complain if they have a problem. Italians don't hold back. I see them as my soul brothers,
What do you think of him?
Him is crazy nuts. I say that. Hey, I like him. Crazy.
When I first came to England, society was different then. People cared about others. And there was always this feeling of responsibility. And now, society doesn't seem to care about anything or anybody. I'm not a leader, but maybe I can help to influence change for the better of everybody. In a way, it's a bit like Jesus. So he wasn't scared of dying. In a way, I'm suffering for other cyclists, but some don't appreciate it.
Don't jump the lights! Red lights, okay? Yeah, you don't jump the red lights. I'm not a policeman. You do not jump at the red lights, okay? You do not jump. Now you can go. Look how ridiculous. You can say that to yourself, silly boy. You silly child. You silly child.
Transport for London resolves 99% of all complaints. But there's a special team who deal with the tiny minority who won't go away.
On the 13th, there were 900 pieces of correspondence that were emailed into us.
Gareth's dealing with a man whose complaint has reached epic proportions.
Did your computer have a problem at the time? Was that as a result of a virus? Right, I appreciate it, but the problem that caused, though, it completely jammed up the Oyster mailbox. Okay, thanks so much for your time then. Thanks, bye-bye.
Did he think that was a little extreme?
Wow. No, he thought by doing that, he was hoping that it would have triggered someone to call him and say, stop emailing us so many times.
That's one way of looking at it, I guess.
Is that normal, that kind of problem?
No.
Unprecedented. The most difficult people to deal with are the ones that you can never pin down what's actually upsetting them. So they make a complaint and you think that you have resolved that, but they go on to another issue. And sometimes you can go round and round in circles. It's like trying to identify that pain on your body. It's like the dance of 1,000 bee stings. You can't really capture what their real issue is.
Yeah, I need to report one of your drivers for dangerous driving.
Call handler Perry is on the line to an old friend.
Okay, bear with me one moment and I'll just take some details from you. And
No, what you're going to do is you're going to get hold of his garage and you're going to get that manager to bring me today.
Unfortunately, we just can't do that. It's not possible for us.
So
we have
you're
to
saying that you are happy for somebody to go around driving 17 tonnes of rolling death with about 60 people on it?
Of course not, of course not. That's why I'm trying to take the
why are
details.
you not taking this seriously then?
Would you just calm down a bit, please, sir? Because I'm really trying to help you out.
You haven't asked for the registration number or
Because
anything.
you've just been shouting at me.
God's sake.
Can I take your name then, please?
Bott, B-O-T-T.
Are you quick to temper, do you think?
Possibly, yeah. The old way of doing things, isn't it? If you shout at somebody, they might take notice, whereas now they don't seem to think that way.
How long have you been married to Mark?
About 10 years.
Okay. What kind of man is he?
He doesn't like injustice at all. He likes things to be done as it should be.
He told me sometimes he loses his temper.
Sometimes he does, I'm afraid.
Does he?
Sometimes he does. He just talk without action. See, you know, it's like a toothless bulldog.
For London's bus passengers, the driver is the only face of TfL they might ever see. And they're the subject of more complaints than anything else.
The bus drivers won't let anyone...
Well, not after the bus, there was at least 10 empty seats. Fucking poor idiots.
With 6.5 million journeys a day, TfL transport more people on buses than in Paris and New York combined.
I had a bus driver call me and spit on the bonnet of my car the other day.
And did you manage to get the registration number of the bus at all?
No, it was a big red thing.
All driver complaints are directed to the bus company responsible. Tony works for Go Ahead, who run a quarter of London's buses. Despite having one of the best customer service records, they still receive 10,000 complaints every year.
When I start work, I sign on, check my bus, ensure that there's nothing wrong.
Tony has been driving buses for 7 years.
My whole idea is to go out there, do my job, make everyone happy, go home, and I don't have to think nothing more. For me, the priority is to have the easiest day. You're welcome. Thank you very much. You have a nice afternoon.
He's got quite a bit of history. 3 complaints in 12 months, all based around behaviour.
When you pull into a bus stop, more often than not, you know when someone's going to complain, especially now with all the modern apps and things like that, where they count the buses down minute by minute. You can kind of tell when someone's not too happy with something, and you can kind of prepare yourself for someone getting on. Can't always prepare yourself for what they're going to say.
I can't have one because I've sent off my over 16.
Yeah, so what do you have to do in between time? So there you go. You know all the answers. £2.40 a minute. So those that complain are often, half the time, the ones that have started it. We don't have people getting on and suddenly go, right, we're going to argue with these. We often have them get on and they want to argue with us.
Car trying to beat bus pulling away from bus stop, which caused communication between the two of them.
What kind of communication?
If we say gestural communication. He got feedback directly from them in a non-positive manner. And it escalated to a point where almost outside influences needed to come in to resolve the situation. That's obviously... Yeah.
Sometimes you do it in the right way, sometimes, well, you do it in the way that you think is right, but according to them it's wrong. You're never going to win. That's the other thing. When you're dealing with passengers and customers, you're never going to win, as hard as you try. This bus terminates here, all change please, all change, this bus terminates here.
Go Ahead are required to investigate every complaint and respond to TfL within 5 days. Tony's been summoned to see his manager about one of them.
It's a bit like going to the headmaster's office in school. The apprehension of standing outside the office.
Bus drivers are feeling the heat of the busy roads. Since 2000, the number of journeys taken by cyclists in London has doubled. One of them has uploaded his latest video to the web.
Do you want to see this guy's bike? He's riding down the middle of the street.
Why's he doing that then?
Good question. Because the bus pulled out to avoid a cyclist, but he's riding down the middle of the road. So the bus was stuck between the rock and a hard place. but the bus didn't beep. That's been put on afterwards.
So that doesn't be put on afterwards. That's coming from the bike.
That's his bike.
Way too close.
So that's not in any way distracting to other road users. Everybody else can hold up and wait while he gives the driver a dressing down. Oh!
What do you think you're doing? Yeah?
Oh, look, it bends out.
Oh my word.
That's equipment.
That's his bendy ruler.
The minimum, you see that, is 1 metre. It's 1 metre.
Well, he's gutsy, but I think he runs the risk of either hurting himself or somebody else. There can be, I think, a time when your point gets hidden by the way that you're trying to deliver the message.
I love you, Taylor. Good man. But you
He's becoming something of a character, isn't he? With thousands of subscribers and putting these videos on all the time.
You mean that becomes so dedicated to the cause, is now looking for the cause?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And creating it.
Yeah. Think symbiosis, Mr. Man.
What does symbiosis mean?
Symbiosis is the sort of like where you become, like, if you became a droid.
And you're
symbiosis is the
consumed
meshing
by
of human and machine.
Okay.
That's my understanding of it.
Yeah, funny.
There we go, R10. What's this one over?
Apparently, I believe, and this hopefully will jog your memory, was something to do with a crying child.
That's correct, yeah. I didn't want to tell them what to do.
No.
But the child was screaming. Okay. And the grandma was holding him in a bear hug, just to control the child. So I just asked them if they could rectify the situation.
Just putting this out, and I always try and do is put you in the passenger's position, okay? And if it had been one of your children...
I would have ensured the child didn't get into that state in the first place.
Yeah.
And I think that the reason why she didn't take to me asking them to sort the situation out is because she was embarrassed.
Do you think that may have come across as a little bit judgmental? My concern is, Tony, that I have been a bus driver, I understand how difficult it is sometimes to have to deal with these situations. But it is important that when we deal with them, we do it correctly, okay?
On this occasion, I recommended that Tony attend a customer awareness course that as a company we run. They're run once every couple of months. Obviously, once they've been on this course, you want to see their attitude change and you want to see the complaints stop.
We've got a customer service course, which is going to teach us to talk properly to the customers and make sure they're happy with us and we have the correct attitude. Apparently, I have the wrong attitude when talking to them. I have a sarcastic manner. I don't see it myself, but...
The biting your lip, they're staying quiet sometimes, apologising when you don't believe you need to, is something we have to do. And Tony does need to learn that, and hopefully the course will teach him that.
Just go in with an open mind. It's a chance for you to talk to them as well.
If I learn anything, I will, and I'll take it on board. But again, I'll go in with the attitude that I'm always right anyway.
Camberwell Bus Garage, it's Eric's job to transform the attitudes of drivers who've had 3 or more complaints in the last year.
What kind of characters do you say that some of these bus drivers are?
Well, oh gosh, very lively, and they think, why are they here? We should have the customers here.
Driver Tony has been brought here for corrective training.
They're my customers, and I try and treat them all differently and treat them all so that they get a fair and happy journey, but they're not always right, and I know that for a fact. I'm always right.
What we do need to do is cut down on the number of complaints we get as a company. Yeah? If by coming today we can discuss some of the things that might help you to pacify the customers and alleviate them actually making the complaint in the first place, it's going to be good for us and for you, yeah? Tony?
It's been a bit of a roller coaster over the last 7 years. Okay. It has changed. When I first joined, it felt more customer focused. Now customers are on our case. And then they still want customer service to be, oh, hello, how are you?
Gareth has left the safety of the Transport for London office to meet a road user who is no stranger to confrontation.
Sir, excuse me. That's £100 fine.
Occasionally, it's necessary that we do need to come out and meet customers face to face, get a better understanding of a problem or a complaint. That way, then we can look to resolve it better. Hello.
Greetings.
How are you?
Emissary from the cycling fraternity.
Hi, Gareth.
Nice to meet you.
Gareth from Transport for London.
Gareth, I would love to take you on a droid tour on my route, so you can taste the palate of driving.
Okay.
So you see what we feel as flesh and wheels. But don't worry, I have a horn.
I have a bell.
Cool. Don't jump the lights. Convert now or fall forever. I call this a cut-off alley. Whoa, you see that?
That is a substantial horn.
It is.
It's a bit of a shocker. Some people would see it as overkill.
I don't think so.
Gareth is keen to highlight how Lewis's behaviour might impact other road users.
There's an incident where you're next to a motorist and all of a sudden the ruler comes out and it's right through the window of his car.
Yes.
Do you not think that's a bit intrusive?
It is, but at the same time, I'm trying to educate to him that visually, that's what 1 meter is like.
Behaviour breeds behaviour, yeah?
At what's known by drivers as the Naughty Boys Club, Eric is digging deep into the realms of social psychology.
If you were to swear at me, I'd be encouraged to swear back. Because I'm an individual, I can exercise my choice and right not to swear back. And if you're having a go at me as a passenger, and I can say sorry and you'll shut up and go and leave me alone, you can have 100 sorries. What does it cost me? The psychologists say that the average person fluctuates between 3 different ego states in a normal day, yeah? A combination of being polite in an adult ego state will always achieve you the best result.
So I've got to grow up.
As managing director of Go Ahead London, John Traynor employs 6,000 drivers and has a keen interest in their psychological makeup.
We're running something here at the moment, actually, where we're profiling all of the garages, what their behaviour is. So you will be a type, whether you're dominant, whether you're compliant, whether you're assertive, etc., etc. And actually, I worry sometimes that actually, there are people who create their own stress.
You don't understand them, obviously, but the work driving out there now, you're dealing with cyclists, you're dealing with cars, you're dealing with passengers, all types of passengers. There's so much pressures and stresses.
I don't think so.
No?
I don't think so.
Most people doesn't.
It's an easy job then.
No,
I got it wrong.
I didn't say it was an easy job.
I got it wrong.
But if you think like that, you're creating your own stress. A good example, I guess, is the number of drivers who've said to me, this would be a great job if I didn't have to pick people up. They stress me out.
Hello. He's not usually this shy. It's like his dad.
You said you might have to grow up a bit. Do you think that, genuinely?
Try and be a bit more serious and more professional on a more regular basis. Maybe I will get less complaints. But I don't know, maybe I'll end up reverting back to my old ways. Give it a couple of weeks. Like this? There you go. Take care.
Thanks, Tony.
In central London, Gareth is taking Lewis to task.
Some of the things might be considered a bit confrontational. I mean, you've got quite an authoritarian stance. Do you not worry sometimes that, what you're doing might be possibly putting drivers on edge, which might conversely make them lose more concentration?
Can I say something? I might do the opposite.
Okay.
Wear Mickey Mouse skirts, hand out flowers, box of chocolates. Please don't drive the way you do. Will it make a difference? I don't think so.
Do you not think, though, that you kind of brought things on yourself?
No, they erupted that volcano. I mean, they opened the can of worms.
I really would recommend strong consideration on your delivery of it.
All right. I'll see you. It's been a great pleasure talking to you, Gareth.
Very good to meet you
enjoyed it immensely.
This is London. You know, everyone's got to be where they had to be 10 minutes ago. You don't want to be made to become aggressive.
It does have a point about me pointing fingers at people, but I think it's more a reaction to what has happened to me.
You know, a simple tap on the window is a case of, you know, you're actually over the advanced stop line there. Instead of the sort of like, you.
Maybe I should try and read the situation better, the temperament of the individual.
You, my friend, you're a killer. You almost crushed me over there. How pathetic of you. You are useless. Listen to me. Listen to me. You need to be careful the way you pass cyclists. You are pathetic. Absolutely pathetic.
Some people, you know, won't be satisfied. And that's a difficult thing to accept because we're here to satisfy people that contact us. People just want it to be easy, and that's how it should be. But it's not always.
Have you ever heard the word symbiosis?
No, sorry. Michelle, have you heard that word?
No.
Explain it to me.
Symbiosis is a close and often long-term interaction between two or more different species. Symbiosis.
Deep.